So in terms of meditation, I think you always end up doing following in usual ways of behavior. We always try to end up reacting to meditation as we reacted to other things in our lives, as we have been used to or trained to react. But it doesn't always work like that. Like it is something special. It's something different from what we have seen before. Even Buddhism itself suffers from the same problem. Usually, people just try to fit Buddhism into something or another they have seen before. It doesn't really match. It doesn't really fit. If you try to fit Buddhism inside of a standard religion, it's not quite. But it's not quite something else either. It is something which is of its own. It is in its own league. It's something different because it does have many aspects. It has the aspect of religion. It has the aspect of faith. It has the aspect of inquiring mind. It has the aspect of science. It has the aspect of philosophy. It has the aspect of tradition and ritual. And no tradition, no ritual. There's many different ways. There's many things. Usually, when people ask me about it, what I say that Buddhism is a set of tools that the Buddha have left behind. That for those who wish to attain enlightenment. So there are many different tools you can use. So you can use the tool of faith. You can use the tool of ritual. You can use the tool of meditation. You can use the tool of thinking and rationalizing. You can use the tool of sound, of arts, like images and sounds and culture. One of the things that I think I benefited the most about becoming a monk is going to a place where there was a culture which is built around the issue of Cittabhavana. The whole culture of the place is built around the issue of Cittabhavana. So how you walk, how you sit, where you sit, how is your what belongings do you have, how you relate to one another. All of this is built around the issue of Cittabhavana, meditation, of knowledge, of samadhi, wisdom, sila, samadhi, panya. So that was a big surprise for me. When I became a monk, I wasn't expecting that. I thought it was just going to give me an empty hut, and I wasn't going to have a lot of free time, which is true as well. But so there are many different things now that exist inside the thing what we call Buddha Sasana. It's not just faith. It's not just ritual. It's not just philosophy. It's not just meditation. It is not just, like you said, community. It is all of those. All of those are present. And then to the extent that it is possible, it's good to offer people who comes in search of the way of practice, to offer them as much as possible in terms of options, or what they can do. Of course, some cultures, some places will not accept this and that. So some aspects of it, it's just not going to go well with the place where you live. So you might exclude those. And even when you offer something to people, you always make them comfortable to say no. If they don't want to join in the devotional practice, they don't have to. If they feel uncomfortable doing this or that or other thing, you don't need to force anybody to do this. And that is that is the thing that really builds up confidence in people, because the main thing that's one aspect maybe where Buddhism is very different from other religions, that this is the real core of Buddhism. It is the results. It's something that has to work. It's not in the ritual. It's not in the orthodoxy. It's not in the texts. So it doesn't matter. Like if people don't want to do the key, that's not the point. If people, they don't want to I don't know, whatever. The point is like this is the heart of Buddhism is not just anything that is external to ourselves. No? So, for example, like here in Brazil, I've been here for around 3 or 4 years already. Not sure. Yeah, I think maybe 3 or 4 years already. And then I thought about it, this kind of stuff. And because people ask me, how do we have to call you? Should we call you Ajahn? Should you call you Bante? Should you call you Venerable? I thought about it. I said, well, that's weird. Like nobody else. Usually people call me. They don't tell people how to call you. They are the ones who decide that, you know. I know if you people decide how you want to call me, I don't care. Like as long as you call me in such a way that I know you're talking to me, that's good enough. Like just whatever you call me, just make sure I understand that you're talking to me. It doesn't need to be called this and that. You know? Especially the word venerable. There was another monk here in Brazil. He would demand that people call him venerable. I said, wow, that's weird, man. Because the word venerable means worthy of veneration. I just think, if you are worthy of veneration, you don't have to tell people to call you venerable. It's something that happens naturally. No? So if you're telling people to call you venerable, you're very not so much worthy anymore. Like there's probably something going on that's wrong there. There's something wrong going on there. You have to tell people. No? So I figured that out. I said, you know what? Just call me whatever you want to call. I tell people, don't worry. I'm not too stupid. I can tell if somebody's being very disrespectful or not. So don't worry about being disrespectful. Just act naturally. If I think somebody's being disrespectful, I will notice. Don't need to be worried about that. It's not a gesture that defines if you are respectful or not. No. The gesture should come from inside. First, you feel respect inside, and then that expresses itself in gestures, in words, and so on. This culture arose in Asia from the heart. And first, the heart feels respect, and then they create a culture to express that respect and veneration. So I fortunately have had that good idea from the very beginning. So I never try to force people to do this and that. I just let them relate to me and to the teaching in whatever way they felt more comfortable. And that was a very good result. In the end, people naturally, like I said, if they feel respect, they will search for ways to express that respect. So they naturally try to learn ways or even developing ways of expressing respect. So this kind of thing comes naturally. So the same thing goes to the Buddha Sasana, to the Buddhism. Now, if people they start to practice, they see the results, they understand the benefit, they will naturally feel inclined to expand the possibilities. Now, what kind of practice can I also do? What about dana? What about charity? What about devotion? What about faith? What about sila? What about morality? What about many other things like study? So many different things that you can do to increase, potentialize your practice so that it becomes more, becomes easier from the results of practice to arise, to manifest itself in your mind. So the same things applies to the meditation practice itself. Don't worry too much, like of it's something that happens inside of yourself. The problem is that the part of you that worries about it, it is not the part of you that practice meditation. That's basically what the problem is. The part of you that is worrying about how to practice meditation is not really the one that will practice meditation. So no matter how much you think about or worry about, am I doing it right? Am I doing it wrong? Now that thing, worrying about, that will not join you when you practice meditation. Actually, it will just stop you from practice meditation. So it is something you have to have a little bit of of a different approach. It is something that comes from the heart. It's something that it is more subtle than in thinking, than the rational thinking. It is something that is a very quiet quality that everybody has inside of themselves. So if you try to relate to it in the same way that you relate to the material world around you, or the way you relate to the things that you normally relate through ideas, unlikely you're going to have a lot of success, because it is different. It is different. So, for example, now people, first and foremost, people try to hold the breath. I tell them to pay attention to the breath, so they kind of grab the breath. Okay, now you're not going to go anywhere. You're going to hold it here. This is what you do when you're holding a dog or holding a cat, But you don't do that with the breath. Like, if you do that with the breath, it doesn't work, because the mind will only stay in the breath if the mind is peaceful. If the mind is agitated, it won't. Like, so if you put tension, if you put desire of anger in your mind, you're going to grab this, you're not going to let go. This is already agitating the mind. So it's kind of, you are sabotaging yourself. You might be able to hold the breath, but like a few seconds on, and then you escape, and you won't be able to sustain that very long. Or if you are able to sustain that for a long time, you're going to be so exhausted at the end. Like, I myself, I went through that when I was a young, I think I was a novice yet. I remember Ajahn Chah from Australia, who is now in Australia, was visiting the monastery, and I asked him about it. I told him exactly that. I said, Ajahn, I can't practice meditation. But the problem is when I finish the meditation session, I feel exhausted. Like, I feel like I just got to roll over and sleep because I'm so tired. So that is because you're trying to use desire, to hold the breath, desire to hold the attention to the breath. But that's tiring. Like, nobody can do that for very long, and that doesn't develop into samadhi. So it's a special touch. It's a special way of relating to the breath. It's not really grasping the breath, but it's not really letting go either. It's none of those. It's not letting go. It's not holding. It's something in between. The closest thing I can think of is riding a bicycle. Because when you ride a bicycle, you're holding the thing there. I don't know how you call it in English. You hold the thing in the bicycle. You don't hold it tight, like, you kind of have a relaxed. You are connected, but you are relaxed. You are along. You are connected to the bike in a relaxed manner. Your muscles are relaxed, and still you're there. You're in control. If you hold it like all muscles tense like this, you're gonna be tired. You won't be able to do a good job. Or else you can compare to holding olive with those, the thing we used to eat Japanese food, those little sticks to eat Japanese food. If you hold it too tight, then it will escape. If you don't put enough energy, it will fall off. So you have just enough energy to just hold it, so just touch it, so you can grasp it with the sticks, without letting it fall off. If you put too much energy, it will escape. If you don't put too much energy, it will just fall off. So just learn how to touch. The skill. There's a question of skill. There is a question of touch. So you just touch the breath with your what? With your mindfulness, with your consciousness. You just touch it, just like for example, I don't know. For example, if you were this thing here, you just touch it, just like you. That's enough. You don't need to do this like. You don't need to grab it. You should just touch it and stay there, and just stay looking at it, feeling the breath. So for many, just this issue of finding the right touch, so you can get in touch with the breath, or whatever meditation object you're using, just learning how to. There is a skill of the mind, how to apply the mind in such a way that it is skillful. That's one thing. And then when you do that, like, people will, the problem is like when you the reason why your mind thinks so much, the reason why this endless chattering is going on inside of your own head. And my experience is that because the sensation of yourself is not very pleasant. It is unpleasant. It might be the sensation of your body, it might be your emotional sensation, but it is unpleasant. And that's why the mind thinks so much, because it wants to block that experience. Now, it is a defense technique. It's a way of not, it's a way of becoming, how do you call this? It's a way of hiding that feeling. So usually what happens, if people ever get to they get that insight of how to have the right touch, how to connect to the breath, just stay there. Usually what happens is that unpleasant feeling becomes very evident. So people sit and they start to feel, I have a constant headache, I have a stomach discomfort, or they have an emotional discomfort, like this kind of agony in the heart, or this kind of anger, or this kind of dissatisfaction. There's something burning inside of them. And then they think, oh, I think I'm not meditating right because this is unpleasant. I'm probably doing it wrong. I said, no, that's exactly what you should be doing. You should not assume that meditation is only going good when it is feeling pleasant. There is meditation which feels pleasant, but that is something you achieve. It's not something you produce. You can't not artificially make the mind become pleasant. You can, but it's not really necessary. I think it's much more useful if the pleasant mind is just a natural expression of itself. For example, you just let go of whatever bad habit you have that make you feel anxious all the time. And that's much more useful than tricking the mind into feeling pleasant. If you just let go or abandon the bad habit of mind that make you angry all the time, the bad mental habit that make you this kind of dissatisfaction. Dissatisfaction is a characteristic of desire. Desire, dissatisfaction is kind of burning. It's not enough. I want more. I want more. I want something else. More. You should learn how to put that down, just to put it down. And then what is left, it is a very pleasant mind. The natural state of your mind is actually quite pleasant. If you just stop tormenting yourself, the mind doesn't need much to be happy. It just needs to be left alone. Just stop tormenting yourself with suffering. Once you do that, you say, oh, I don't need to buy anything, and I don't need to make any prayer so that some divine being will send his blessings to me. I don't need to go to a sacred place. I don't need this. I don't need that. I just need to let my mind be normal. Let my mind go back to normal. Usually what we do, we keep tormenting the mind. We keep pushing the mind. We make the mind work in unnatural manners. So it becomes a very unpleasant phenomenon. Most people cannot stand the feeling of themselves. That's why they cannot be alone. They cannot be quiet in a room. They need something to distract themselves. So if you stop to think about it, what are you distracting from? Why you are so anxious to distract yourself? Distract yourself from what? Now, suppose you are in a quiet room. Now, there's no noise disturbing you. There is no danger, no threat. There's nothing. The temperature is pleasant. It's still, there's something burning. I say, oh, I need to distract myself. Distract yourself from what? From yourself. From the feeling inside of yourself. The feeling of yourself is unpleasant. And then, it's just not to think about it. Why on earth will I submit to this? Why on earth will I just say, well, it's just the way it is? No, it's not. Like, this is myself. Like, am I going to go through life like this? No, this is ridiculous. Like, how can I not? No, I used to tell people here in Brazil, like, Now, if you can stand yourself, how can you expect anyone else to be able to be like you? Like, if you don't like yourself, how can other people like you? If you cannot stand yourself, how can other people stand you? Like, it's just, of course, you know, you have to do it. You have to do it yourself first. You know, you have to, of all people in the world, like, at least you should be a friend to yourself. So don't let your mind keep dragging you like this. No, this meditation is excellent to see that. So when you sit meditation, if you can quiet down the mind for a few seconds, and then what you find when the mind is quiet is an unpleasant feeling, don't despair. Don't think, oh, I'm doing it wrong. No, you're not doing it wrong. You already did the first part, which is connect to that feeling. You know, be aware of that feeling. That is very, very useful, very good. So first, what you do in a situation like this, you insist. First of all, you just stop being afraid of that feeling. Just sit there and learn how to feel that. Don't be afraid anymore. Don't have so many opinions about how your mind should be or not be. So you sit meditation, that's how you feel it right now. So that's it. That's fine. It's just the way it is. This is how I am right now. Learn how to be at peace with that, because this is just yourself. And if you cannot be at peace with yourself, you're never going to find any peace. So don't worry. Like, you just if you be able to at least stay with yourself, stay with that feeling. Maybe in time, maybe I say maybe because I've been humble. For sure in time, you're gonna figure it out, like how to stop that, how to change that. I say for sure you're gonna find out, because if you are a human being, you dislike suffering. So if you keep watching, you just stay there with the feeling. Say, stay there. Don't try to solve any problems during meditation. Just sit there and learn how to be there. It doesn't matter if it is pleasant or not. If it is unpleasant, then just endure it. Endure in the same way that you practice meditation. Just relax and be there. Don't try to fight it. Don't try to change it. Don't do nothing. Just stay there and learn how to feel. Learn how to be with yourself. Learn how to endure the experience of being yourself. First of all, once you can be with yourself, then a solution for that will come. That solution might come in many different ways. But even sometimes, like which for my opinion is the best, most excellent solution, is that you're going to realize that this act of being aware, this is peaceful. Even though I am aware of an unpleasant feeling, the thing that is aware is not unpleasant. It's actually quite nice. It is quiet. There is a feeling of silence, a peaceful silence there. So if sometimes you just change like the focus, that you're looking at unpleasant feeling, you just pull back your focus a little bit and you stay with the awareness of the feeling. So, this awareness is peaceful. You don't even have to solve the problem of the feeling, which is unpleasant. Sometimes if you have the kind of intuition, that could be the solution. But it doesn't have to be that. It can be many different things. Sometimes you just relax. Sometimes like you're feeling, you sit meditation, you this kind of tense feeling inside of yourself. And then you go, why the hell am I doing this? I just relax. Here we go. That was it. I was just like, it's just a bad habit. This is one of the most embarrassing things I ever found in my monastic life, like in my meditation history. There's one time in my practice, I realized like it's just meant a bad habit. I just have a bad habit of being tense. It is because I try to find some explanation. It must be something from the past. It must be something from my childhood. I must be afraid of something. I must be desiring something. And then you go, oh no, it's just a bad habit. If I just relax, the mind goes back to normal. So sometimes it's just something foolish like this. So that's why I don't like to give people solutions. Well, at most as I go is this: be there, stay, look, learn how to be there. Don't be afraid. Stay there. Don't be in a hurry to get rid of the suffering. Don't be in a hurry to suppress the feeling, to changing into something else. even though it might work. Even though you say, well, I heard Luang Por so-and-so, he said to spread compassion to yourself. And then you do it and it works. Okay, that's good. That's not bad. If it works, that's fine. But the thing is, if you let it come from yourself, if you let the solution arise from your own intuition, from your own insight, not only are you going to solve that challenge, the solution will be much deeper than the solution if you hear it from someone else. And third, you're going to start to acquire faith in yourself. You're going to start to acquire faith in the process. You're going to say, oh, this thing actually works. There's something here, and it works. It doesn't need to. It's something which is inside of yourself. It's something right here. And that is very, very crucial, to acquire that faith. People used to say, some people try to characterize Buddhism, say, oh, Buddhism doesn't have any faith. No, that's wrong. Buddhism, there's a lot of faith in Buddhism, in many different levels, even to the level that people normally identify as the standard concept of religion. Still, that kind of faith also can be present. It's not mandatory. It's not mandatory that you must have that kind of faith, but it can be used as well if you wish to. But one faith that cannot be, is not optional, is have faith in yourself. And that faith in yourself is not something you can trick yourself into having. You cannot just convince yourself to have faith. Either you have it or you don't. And that faith will come from experience. That's why the 5 precepts is so important. These 5 precepts will build self-esteem. Now, if you follow these five precepts, it will build self-esteem. It will build confidence in yourself. You're going to feel confident. For example, if you follow the 5 precepts for a long time, after a while, you become confident. You know what? I'm quite sure I'm not going to steal nothing from anybody, because I've been doing for a couple of years already. I've been to situations and I have not stolen from anybody. I have not lied to anybody. I have not harmed anybody. That kind of thing gives an inner confidence that you need, to have meditation, good meditation. It builds that layer of confidence. So when you sit in meditation, you sit with a confident attitude. You put your attention in your breath. And you're not afraid. You're not worried. You're just relaxed and firm. In Italian, they sometimes translate samadhi as tanjaiman. Tanjaiman literally means to put the heart firm, to make the heart firm, to establish the heart in a firm manner. The heart becomes firm, strong. Man, tanjaiman. So that will a good foundation for that will come from Sila, the 5 precepts. Another good foundation from that, will come from, that will be refined as you trust your own practice, as you trust mindfulness, as you trust sati, as you learn to trust yourself, learn to trust the process. Like I said, when you focus on your breath, you don't try to make the breath go slower, go more softer, or go whatever. No? You just trust the process. You put the focus on the breath. You relax and let things happen from then onwards. Don't interfere. No? You only interfere if your mind stray away from the meditation. If you stray your way, then you can interfere by bringing it back. And then you let go, relax. Just let the mind and the breath interact with one another. Let the process develop itself naturally. Your only interfere is when the mind escapes, goes from, if it starts to fall asleep, then you bring it up. If you start to oscillate, become too tense, then you relax. And you start to begin to relax, you bring it up. You find the right balance. So this is something, it can be taught. You can't teach that. You have to do for yourself. It's like I said, like riding a bicycle. You have to learn by yourself. You can't expect somebody to be in a radio now. You put a microphone here. You go, okay, to the left, to the right now. Okay, more to the side, to the other side. It's just gonna make you learn even slower than if you just get a bicycle. Okay, good luck. Go for it. Good luck. Then you're going to fall a few times, but in time you're going to learn. Like, everybody does. Why shouldn't you? So meditation is the same thing. You just have to put yourself into it. You have to put your intuition into it. Like, you cannot follow instructions blindly. Not even instructions from Kruba Ajahns, like not even instructions from Luang Por Chah, Luang Por Man, Luang Por Suneira, doesn't matter, because they can only talk from their own mind frame. Only they know what they mean. But like Luang Por Chah said about like unsure, my ne. That my ne only has the real meaning of my ne is only Luang Por Chah know what it is. Like for him, what does my ne, not sure, means for him? For Luang Por Chah, it was something. When we hear it, we understand part of it, like some of it. But the real meaning, only he knows. Like when Luang Por Suneira talk about letting go, like it's only he knows what he means by letting go. We have a concept of what letting go means, but only when you really apply it in here, when you attain the same results as they have attained, then you will understand what they were talking about when they mean letting go. It's something it's difficult to grasp just by understanding the concept. Anything you understand through language is very shallow. So if you want to understand something in a deeper level, language won't do it, won't cut it. So you have to put yourself into it. You have to put yourself into the process so that you can experience what it is that the Ajahns are talking about. Well, I guess I'll just say this much. I don't want to extend too much. I'll maybe see if people have questions or anything you'd like to talk.
Ajahn, I was thinking about a question, or maybe if you can share. It was about 2 years ago that a few of us were in Thailand, and we had a merit that Ajahn Sukito took us to pay respect to Luang Por Liam, and we asked him about a place in Israel, or to establish a place in Israel. So Luang Por said, like the main theme was that things are developing in a gradual path and developing slowly. But among other things, he also mentioned the monastery in Brazil, and to take example maybe of what's been done in Brazil. So I thought maybe it's an opportunity if you can share a bit your experience in establishing the monastery and the Brazilian community. And
Sure. The thing in Brazil was really something really slowly. Like meditation groups have been here for over 10 years, 20 years already. And then this kind of thing, the main in a place like maybe Israel and Brazil, where there is no Thai community, there's no Asian community which will bankroll the whole thing. It has to be done by people from the country itself. Nobody from Asia will come to give money and make things happen. They're gonna have to be the people, the locals, who have to do it. When it is like this, like the main thing is to have enough people that they have this strong foundation in the practice, because this strong foundation in the practice is what keeps people in the path. That makes people first. It will give people the good qualities that are necessary to make such a thing happen. Because people they have to have very good quality. They have to have wisdom. They have to be wise. They have to have honesty. They have to have a healthy relation to one another. Has to have this environment of trust and friendship. And if people don't have that quality in the heart, this kind of environment it will never come forward. Right? If people are fighting all the time, there's a lot of ego, a lot of vanity, a lot of jealousy, which happens a lot. In meditation groups. Oh my God, it happens a lot. It's unbelievable. And then you have to have a foundation, a group of good quality people, you know. And that good quality people, you can produce that artificially, you know. It's something that through the practice of Dhamma, these people will start to arise. You know? It's something that naturally will start to develop, you know. So it might take a long time, it might take less, it depends on the situation. Yeah? But here in Brazil, I can tell you for sure, like that, the foundation was this. I've been tracking. As a monk, you know, I was living in Thailand already, and I started to slowly, little by little, start to get in touch with the people, you know, in Brazil, in Rio, in São Paulo, in Brasilia as well as another city in Brazil. And then along the years, like as Ajahn Sukito is doing with you now, like along the years, you get to notice now what kind of people are these? Like what kind are they? What kind of people am I dealing with? Like and then one thing that was clear for me after a while was that, wow, this is a very good group of people. A very, very, very good group of people, good quality people. It's not just a matter of good intention. You also need the quality of wisdom, the quality of sincerity, the quality of energy, the quality of how you call this, commitment. You know, have a steady mind. If you're starting to do something, you go through with it. You don't start doing something, then you change your mind, you forget, you go do something else. Oh, I'm going to do this, then you stick to it. You know, you do it. Reliability. You know. So, and people are, you know, you can't expect much from lay people, but yeah, reasonably civil and friendly. You know, they more or less can get along together. It's not always perfect, but good enough. Good enough. We'll settle for good enough. You know, better not aim at perfection. We just settle for good enough. And then seeing those qualities and seeing the situation, that's when we feel, oh, this can actually work. This can actually work. This is possible. This can be done. This can be done. So I would say this much, because if you have that, everything else will come naturally. So if you have that, you know, it's not all the challenges are quite easy to deal with. Actually, it's not too difficult. So that is the main thing, really. So that's what I say is this: like, don't worry about making a monastery. Just worry about having a good, healthy, wholesome group of people. Don't worry about numbers of people either. So if you have 10 good quality, it's much, much better than 50, you know, not so good. A monk, like if you're going to invite a monk to come, I think he will be much more interested in knowing how much good quality are these 10 people than how the total number. It doesn't matter really. Like if you say, well, Ajahn, we have 100 people. Well, but how many of them are actually into it? How many of them are really firm? How many of them can be counted on? This is what matters. How many people come and go? That doesn't matter at all. Like this is an irrelevant number. The number that matters is like how many people are really there now. It's good quality people who are firm in the practice now. And then that firmness on the practice comes from results in practice now. If people don't really benefit from the practice of meditation, if people don't really have depth, have profundity into their experience of Dhamma, that won't come forward. That kind of quality will not come forward. So you should invest right now into ways of deepening your practice as a group. You know? And that will also involve inviting Ajahns to give retreats. That will also involve or just to visit, to chat like this, and expanding your vision of what Dhamma practice actually is. Not just be focusing one aspect, like meditation practice, one aspect, but there are many other things that can be done. Expanding your vision, have a little bit of strategy, thinking, like every monastery is like Ajahn Mudito says very often, is a machine to produce goodness. So your group as well, your lay group, you should think of it, the lay group as a machine to produce Dhamma in people, not in terms of books or recordings or retreats. I was talking about producing Dhamma inside people's hearts. Like, what can you do here? How can you structure things so that this meditation group, this Buddhist group, becomes a more efficient tool to produce Dhamma? And as Dhamma is produced, as people are absorb the Dhamma, as the Dhamma is absorbed by the skin, it goes through into the body, into the bones. When people have Dhamma in their bones, then they become very firm, they become good quality people, they become wise, they become easy to talk to, they become easy to understand, they get along well, they work together well, they are reliable, they are intelligent. Everything works, everything's easy. When you have good people, everything is easy, there's nothing difficult. Even in Brazil, you can make a monastery if you have good people. It's not that hard. I'm quite sure Israel was much easier, because at least, of course, you have many particularities that makes it difficult there. But guess what? In Brazil, we also have many particularities that make it it could be very, very difficult here. If you wanted to make it very difficult, it could be horrible. But we didn't make it difficult. We just did it in such a way that would be easy. So the same thing can be done in Israel. It's just a matter of, it has to, the secret is good people. You need good people. And good people come from Dhamma, mostly from Dhamma practice.
May I have a question, please?
Of course.
First of all, thank you for sharing your knowledge. And second, is there any program for women in your place?
I just wish I could see who's talking. I don't know how to use this program. Am I doing something wrong?
No, my camera is on.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Excuse me, can you also maybe introduce yourself, because I'm not sure about your name? Or Peter Pan, can you maybe introduce yourself?
The person who made the question would like to introduce yourself.
Oh, okay. Like, what would you like to know about me?
So, Mia,
I think you just want to know
your name, maybe? I'm not sure.
Hello?
רק את שמך, פשוט כי הוא לא כתוב במסך.
אז אני כאן כמו פיטר פן, פשוט לא רואים את התמונה שלי, כי אני בלי מצלמה.
ושמך?
שמי המלא?
המלא, נעים מאוד, אוקיי. לא, פשוט להכיר, פשוט, because just to know, because we don't, I was not sure about your name, so okay, nice to know you.
Okay.
So the question about if there are any programs for women, not really. That we have women are welcome to stay in the monastery, but we don't offer any specific program. But as far as that is concerned, we also don't offer any specific program for men either. Now, for the moment, there are monks living here, but we don't really have a program to ordain people or anything of the sort. Like we're still like slowly, developing. I don't think we're going to offer any ordination for women all that soon, because I think it's a really difficult challenge. I don't feel confident enough to train men, even worse women, because training men, I am a man, and I still think training a man to become a monk is quite a challenge. Now, me not being a woman, to train women, I think I feel even more lost doing something like that. And especially nowadays with so much tension and enmity and between men and women, between genders, I think is even less conducive situation. In my opinion, nowadays women should really create their own monastery. They shouldn't be sitting around waiting for men to make the monastery for them, because even if they do, it won't be a very wholesome environment, because there's not trust between them. Men and women don't trust each other anymore. So I think really, like, if women would like to have female monasteries, bhikkhuni monastery, whatever monastery, you have to just follow the same path the men did, like I did. I went to Thailand alone. You have nobody to tell me where to go or what to do. I just went. When I got there, I just deal with it. Like, just when hungry, I learn how to sit in the floor, 1 meal a day, mosquitoes, strange language, strange culture. Just endure it, like learn, go through the process. So you can take it. So once you have acquired the knowledge of monastic life, then you can bring it back to your country and establish the monastery, like all men did, like Luang Por Piak. Everybody followed the same path. There was nobody so women should follow the same path, I think, because it's the most wholesome path. There are many monasteries now in Asia and in the West that offer ordination for women. So somebody has to give the first step, instead of sitting there. So I wonder when the man is going to make a monastery for us. No, they won't make a monastery for you. You go there, and you have to go get that ordination and then bring it back to your country. So the first monastery in Israel doesn't have to be a male monastery. That's something you should have in mind as well. Huh? It should not be aiming. We have to. No, it depends on what happens. Like, if suppose you have a very good quality nun, a bhikkhuni or whatever, you feel confidence in her. You see she's wise. It has many good qualities. Has leadership qualities, has dhamma qualities. Now that is an excellent option as well. There's no reason why you should want a bhikkhu monastery. So, but yet, like if people in Israel want to have a bhikkhuni monastery, women have to go and become ordained, and they bring it back, the bhikkhuni ordination, to Israel. You can expect monks to do that. This is they can't. They will never do a good job in that area. If you want that to be well done, it has to be done by women. They are the ones to understand what a female character is, how the female experience is. They are the ones who will be able to teach Dhamma in such a way that fits into the experience of the people listening to it. Otherwise, it's going to be all this kind of thing, like Luang Por Chah is like ducks looking after little baby chicks. Chicken. It's similar, but it's not quite the same. So if you want a good teacher to ordain women, that teacher must be a woman as well. Otherwise, I don't think you're ever going to get a real good result. So that's it. That's my opinion.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ajahn. Earlier, you suggested or advised perhaps to abandon, I think you said to abandon what makes you miserable.
I couldn't understand. Could you repeat it one more time?
Yeah, yes. Earlier, you suggested to abandon what makes you miserable or what makes you unhappy. As part of the meditation process. I think I mistakenly thought that perhaps the meditation itself can help you abandon what makes you miserable in day to day, but maybe I got it wrong, because for example, I have some aspects in my life that I find it very hard to abandon, but I'm still aware that they make me unhappy Maybe you can explain a bit more on that.
Well, the meditation will help you develop tools. There are many ways that meditation might be useful in that aspect. For example, you sit meditation for half an hour. You have many worries in your mind, many things that you must be doing. Many people are counting on you, many duties. Everything is important, everything is urgent. Yeah. But you think if you learn, say, you know what? I will put everything down just for 15 minutes. If you do that once, you feel the mind become peaceful for 15 minutes. And then after 15 minutes, you see, I have not lost my capacity to solve problems, to help people. Now, even though I have put it down for 15 minutes, after 15 minutes, I still can solve problems. I can still help people. I can still look after my family and so on. So you feel confident, that I don't need to be worried so much. My value as a human being, my worth as a leader of a family, as an employee, as a friend, as a whatever, it doesn't depend on me being worried and burdened with all this concern and all these things. So when you acquire that knowledge, that experience, you know that I can abandon this worry, and I still can solve problems. So you see that this is all in your mind. Actually, the thing that makes you miserable, like we mentioned, is not outside. The thing that makes you miserable is inside. It is yourself, your relation to that thing. It's not like your family. If you don't worry about your family, is not a problem. And not worrying about doesn't mean you're not going to look after them. No, it's two different things. That worrying about and being a good father are two different things. You can be a good father without worrying about it. You're just using wisdom, intelligence, compassion, goodwill, friendship. That's enough to be a good father. You don't need to worry also. So that teaches you. The meditation is kind of a little laboratory, as a little test ground where you can learn this kind of little tricks, these little skills that you can take that also to your normal life. So that's one thing. But another thing is this, like if you have happiness inside of yourself, if you learn how to become happy inside, if you learn how to find something wholesome in here, what very often will happen is that you notice, well, first of all, you're going to feel a sense of value into yourself. So when you feel, I am valuable, this is good. I have something good here. And then you say, well, I don't want to do that. I don't want to get involved with these people anymore, because what I have here is more valuable than pleasing these people's opinion, or these people, like they're gonna criticize me. I don't care so much. Actually, I like this better than I like that. So that will also nourish yourself in such a way that you're gonna feel more this kind of feeling of self-respect. A lot of times we get involved in all this, we get stuck in all these kind of situations because we have no self-respect. We don't see anything valuable in ourselves. And I don't blame you for that. Most people don't have much valuable inside of themselves, to be quite honest with you. I get it. Yeah. Sometimes the reason why you don't see much valuable inside of yourself is because you are intelligent. You have, I can see there's really nothing much here. I am not very reliable. I am dishonest. I am enslaved by base desires, base impulses. I am not reliable. I am not a good friend. I am this, I am that, I'm lazy, and so on and so forth. So when it is like that, it's normal that you will not feel a lot of self-respect. You will not feel a lot of worth in yourself. And when it is like that, you don't feel much difference. people are, you don't feel like you don't feel urgency to look after yourself, and then you feel weak when people come to oppress you. You don't have that desire to look after yourself. So that's another point. Another thing also, like I could mention, is this, like a lot of times also we get involved in bad situations, we get involved with bad people, we get stuck into unpleasant situations because we are afraid of suffering. We think, this will create some sort of happiness, or if I don't do this, I will suffer. But then you don't really you're not really happy, but you don't really get stuck into that thing. You are suffering now, but if you let go, you think you're going to suffer even further. So when you have happiness inside of yourself, now you know, oh, this is what happiness is. It's right here. It's not someone else. It's right here. So then you feel much more confident, to let go of the situation you are stuck in, the situation that you know are harmful for yourself, but you don't have the energy to let go of them. You don't have the energy to abandon them. You need something to stand on. You can't just like people, they come through ordained to become monks. So when they ordain, they become monks. They let go. They relinquish all sorts of sensual pleasures. There's no TV, no girlfriend. Food is just once a day. Whatever food they give you, cannot choose your food. No, you cannot go traveling here and there. You cannot listen to music. You'll sleep on the floor, cold, heat, mosquitoes, and so on and so forth. Usually, after 1 year, 2 years, 3 years at most, if in 3 years the monk doesn't acquire the inner happiness, quite sure he will disrobe. He will give up. 80% of people who ordain just give up in the first 3 years because they can't find happiness in their monastic life. Even this is in the suttas. Even the Buddha used to say it's hard to find happiness in the renunciate life. But the point is, you need happiness to live. There is no way you're going to exist without happiness. Even if you abandon the happiness of the sensual world, you have to develop the happiness of the peaceful mind, of the inner happiness. But to think that you're going to exist without happiness doesn't happen. You can be there like that for a couple of years at most. After that, you're going to collapse. Your whole, if you are a monk, you're going to disrobe. If you're not a monk, you're just going to have a nervous breakdown, or you're going to start to take drugs or something like that. So you need to find a foundation in happiness. That to have a good foundation, a wholesome foundation in happiness, is one of the most powerful things to help you abandon bad habits. So usually I recommend people, even though just find a more wholesome lifestyle. Do exercise, eat better. Stop watching stupidity in Facebook or internet, whatever garbage you're feeding yourself with. Stop doing that to yourself. Have more self-respect. Follow the precepts. Do charity. Charity will help you develop self-esteem. Helping other people will help you develop self-esteem. Following the precepts will help you develop self-esteem. Do exercise. Wake up early. Don't be lazy. Live clean your house, clean your place. Live such a life that you don't need to be ashamed of. That will develop an inner strength. That will give force to abandon bad habits and bad companions. That's more or less. That's why I say that this. You see, that this is not just about meditation. This kind of thing has to open up and start to encompass your other aspects of your life. You cannot just do that for meditation, or if you can, but it's too difficult. It's so much easier to just do the whole thing. It's so much easier. You try to do everything through meditation. It's too hard. It's too hard. Just do it properly. The Buddha didn't teach like that. Why you should try to do it like that? The Buddha didn't teach like that. So why try to do it more harder if you can do it easier?
Thank you, Ajahn. I have a question that relates to, the subjects that you spoke about now. And the question is, what are the factors that make up a really deep and good lay practice?
Well, formally, the things that most stand out, right, when you look at it, will be, I would strongly recommend people, if they can, to frequent Buddhist group or meditation group. Have friends. If you can avoid being alone in your practice, I would recommend that. Even if you cannot go there by in presence, they're at least online. Take this kind of online meeting and talk to, have friends that are also practicing Dharma. That is, I would say, is very, very useful, very, very important as well. And then, of course, following the 5 precepts. This is a way deeper than you think. The thing with the 5 precepts, only when you do it, you're going to understand. Now, when you do it for a year or more, you start to figure out why they are important. I say from experience, I myself, I started as a layperson as well, and I remember, like, I always been very skeptical. I've never been much of a guy inclined to religion or anything of the sort. So I started to practice meditation, started to study Buddhism. And then one fine day, I just don't know what the Buddha talking about 5 precepts. I'll be quite honest with you. I don't know why. I don't understand why I had to do this. But you know what? I'm just going to do it. For hell with it. I'm going to do it. I'm not doing anything better. I'm just going to do it. So I start following the 5 precepts. I didn't even think much of it. I was just doing it. Well, the Buddha said to do it, I'll do it. I don't care why. I just do it. So I start practicing the 5 precepts. After a while, I start to see the results of it. I remember the day that really dawned on me that the importance of the 5 precepts was one day I was shaving in the bathroom, in the mirror, in the shave. I was shaving and looking at myself, and then I said, oh, you know what? In this whole world, nobody needs to be afraid I'm going to steal their possessions. In this whole wide world, there's nobody to need to be afraid that I'm going to steal their girlfriend or going to lie to them. After a while, this kind of thing just arose spontaneously. I didn't decide to think like that. I was just like shaving like this, and then suddenly I realized, wow, I can be trusted. I'm not a threat to anybody. Now that only arose because I had been following the 5 precepts for a long time already. So when that arises, they give a very, very warm feeling in your heart. Like you start to feel, you start to feel a lot lighter. You feel it's much easier to like. You feel a lot of times we don't like ourselves because we want to be good people. That's why we don't like ourselves. We are afraid if I like myself, I will become a bad person. So you always castrating yourself, always limiting yourself because you have desires, you have hatred, you have jealousy. So once you have confidence, I will not harm anybody. I know I will not harm anybody. I can trust myself now. Through experience, I know I will not harm anybody. When you have that trust, that sincere trust inside of yourself, you feel a lot more capable of relaxing, and you feel a lot more confident in liking yourself. It's okay, now I can like myself. Now I can relax and like myself. And then that improves your quality of life a lot. You become your life experience become a lot lighter, more pleasant. Your meditation start to progress. So 5 precepts it cuts a lot deeper than you think. It's not just a question of culture, of society, or social organization. It cuts a lot deeper than you think. It goes deep inside. And so 5 precepts is important. Optionally, well, let's not go into the option part yet. Well, it's still not mandatory. So no, having good friends, mandatory, except when you can't. Now then you have to, if you cannot find good friends, now try to practice alone, of course. 5 precepts, mandatory. Studying the word of the Buddha. Now try to learn the suttas. Don't need to memorize them. But have a good look, have a sincere and interested look into what the Buddha actually taught. Instead of just reading books from other teachers, other monks, try to have a global view of what the Buddha actually said. How did he speak, even though it might not be a very easy read, but it's good to have a general look. If you are a Buddhist practitioner, you should at least have a good notion of what the Buddha actually said. It can complement that with teaching from Luang Por Piak, Luang Por Chai, etc. But don't neglect the suttas. Also, you don't need to be obsessed in memorizing and know any little technical details of the suttas and so on. Just have a general idea of what the sutta says, and this is important as well. And now optional is devotion can be useful. If you have admiration for the Buddha, if you understand the depth of the wisdom of the Buddha, if you have gratitude for his teaching, you can express that. You can develop that gratitude. You can develop that admiration even further by practicing puja, doing bowing, doing chanting. This will give you outlet. Will help you connect to that wholesome feeling inside of yourself, and will develop it further as well. So that's optional. Not everybody. Some people are allergic to this kind of practice. If you are allergic to this kind of practice, don't do it because it's going to be harmful. But if you are not allergic to devotional practice, then that could be useful as well. So that is something else I would mention. Anything else, friends?
If I may ask, you can hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Ajahn, for your talk. I would like to ask about meditation. You kept as a main object the breath. And there are many objects in meditation, but I wanted to ask about like no object meditation. What about staying with consciousness itself or with experience without returning to a main object, just looking at consciousness?
That's very well and nice. But the problem is staying with the breath is the easiest one. That's where we have a problem here. Because you say, well, I don't get along with the breath. I think I'm going to do something else. Really? If you cannot even do the breath, you think you're going to have success with something else. Like the breath is the easy one. If you just try to stay with consciousness itself, I have no faith at all that you're going to be able to sustain that in a long period of time. Like, I think your mind will just be pulled away very easily for whatever sound or whatever sensation, wherever. The thing is, like meditating, the thing is, you can meditate. That's right. You can sit and just be aware, and that's all very well nice. That's good. It's not the case that it is useless. You can get benefit from that as well. But you have no idea of how powerful and how useful samadhi is. So if you have to meditate, I would suggest that you meditate in a way that is useful here and now, and to develop wisdom, develop a better understanding of yourself. And also in a way that if you stick to that, you will develop into samadhi. So for the mind to develop into samadhi, you're going to need a lot more stability of mind. You need to be very steady focused. And I say, like, no, I'm not the owner of the subject. I'm not the owner of Buddhism. So don't take me too seriously when I say that. But in my opinion, my experience, if you cannot hold the breath for a long period of time, steady, unbroken flux of attention, of consciousness, focus on the breath. If you find that hard to do, very, very unlikely you're going to be able to hold the mind into just the awareness without being carried with enough good quality for that to develop into samadhi. If anything at all, you could, for example, not even that. I'll stick to the breath. I was almost suggesting you to develop a Subha Kamatana, but I won't, because I think to do that, you're going to need a lot more good emotional intelligence. Maybe I don't know what to call it. Maybe if talking in terms of Buddhism, I would just say you're going to need a lot more paramita, a lot more paramita, a lot more merit. Not a lot more good qualities of the heart to be able to develop that practice well, because it can have side effects. Even I don't encourage people, for example, to do a lot of visualizations. People, well, can I visualize an image of the Buddha? Can I use the image of a light, a flame? I see a few problems in doing that as well. As this practice develops further, a few challenges will come up, and then if you don't have a very strong discipline, if you don't have a very strong focus in terms of purpose, a very focused and clear purpose in your mind, you're gonna be led astray. So also, just letting the mind be in conscience itself, like without object, I doubt it. I'm kind of skeptical. But I invite you to prove me wrong. Go do it and get the results. And then next time you see each other, you can tell, Ajahn, you're wrong. I focus only in awareness itself, and I had a good result. I would say, sadhu, congratulations. I'm very happy to hear that. So if you can prove me wrong, I would be very happy for you, because what I want is for you to have progress in your mind. In my experience is that the breath is actually the easy one. The breath is the easy one. If you cannot have success with the breath, it's unlikely you're going to have much success with any other way of meditation. But see, what I'm calling success in meditation is the mind becomes concentrated. The mind becomes samadhi. Just I'm trying to avoid to say samadhi, but it's just so easy. It's samadhi. Samadhi is the goal. It's not the only goal, but it's a very, very important goal. It's very, very useful. It's very, very, very useful. Your practice will change completely. It's true. It's like a water. The beach. The beach is the breaking. Separate the sea from the land. Samadhi is that line. There's the practice before samadhi, and your practice after samadhi. It's totally different. It's something very much worth developing, because even as you aim to that, you are developing wisdom. As you aim towards samadhi, you develop wisdom. You're developing more good qualities of the heart. You develop skills of the heart. You develop sila. You develop everything. Everything goes together. So that's why I find more useful to stick to the breath, because whatever difficulty you're finding is not the problem. Is not the breath. The problem is your mind. The breath is not an obstacle to meditation. If you find difficult with the breath, it's not the breath. It's not the meditation object which is wrong. It is you don't have the qualities yet to be successful in that practice. Like my teacher, Luang Por Piak, used to say, listen, if you can't do anapanasati, you won't be able to do anything else. This is supposed to be easy. If you ask Luang Por Piak, Luang Por, how you practice meditation? So it's very easy. You just sit, focus on your breath, and you go into samadhi. For him, it's like that. He has a lot of parameters, and for him, it's easy like that. But for us, it's not. But I say, like, I agree with him. If you be able to develop anapanasati, you're going to be able to develop any other meditation style. If you're good at anapanasati, the same thing that makes you good at anapanasati will make you good in kasina, subha, whatever other meditation object you want to find. But I say you need a clear target to your practice. Now, if you're not going to use anapanasati, then try to use like Luang Por Sumedho used to teach, the sound of silence. Now, you have to have a clear goal. If you just let your mind loose like that, it's too subtle. Your mind will just be wandering here and there, and it's not very. It might develop wisdom. It might help you be more aware of your thinking. It might help you developing the capacity to let go. That's all very useful. Yeah? But I think you can do the exactly same thing by using anapanasati. In anapanasati, you develop into samadhi as well. So, my opinion. Again, I'm not the owner of anapanasati. It's not you can do it another way. As long as it works, I'm fine. I'm happy. I just wish you have success in your practice. That's all.
Thank you, Ajahn.
Bante, I have a question. Can I ask? Yeah. Can you elaborate more about the samādhi? What's the difference between samādhi and the samadhi?
Samadhi and samadhi. Is that it?
Yeah, correct.
Samadhi is I like to translate. No, in English it works well. They translate as right view. In Portuguese, it doesn't work so well. Visão correta in Portuguese, it doesn't quite translate, because samadhi, there's two levels of samadhi. There's a level of samadhi which is in the realm of thinking. So, and there's samadhi which is in the level of vision, of experience. Samadhi, which is in the level of thinking, of opinions, you can translate it into right point of view. Right point of view means what is your opinion about the world around you? How you do relate to the world around you in terms of thinking, in terms of your mental attitude? For example, samadhi, right view, right point of view is that doing good actions is good. Harming other people is bad. This is an opinion. This is one superficial level of samadhi, but a very important level, very necessary. So you have the opinion that doing charity is good. Helping other people is wholesome. Being sense restrained, not indulging in sensual pleasure, this is wholesome. This is good. This is another example of samadhi. Compassion is good. Frugality is good. Being demanding and difficult to look after. Being ungrateful is bad. Being ungrateful for your mother, not having respect for your mother and father, not having gratitude to your mother and father, this is bad. This is an opinion. I have the opinion that being grateful for mother and father is good. This is an opinion. But this starts to compose world view, the way you see the world around you. What is your opinion about the things that happen around you? In such a way that will foment, will construct wisdom, will construct a well-balanced mind. And that includes the understanding of karma, the consequences of karma. Now, if you try to look at the world from including that information that will make your mind more peaceful, because things start to make sense. The world stop being so mysterious and weird. Then when you start to look things because the way the Buddha teaches samadhi, it is it paints a very clear picture. It gives a very complete picture of the world, so you can understand the world around you in those terms. When you understand the world around you in those terms, you start to act in the world in a more wholesome manner. There's less friction, there's less suffering. Your mind becomes more peaceful. You do things and it works. You do things and things work because you act in appropriate manner. So that helps the mind to become more peaceful. There's less friction inside of your mind. Your relation to the world around you and your relation to yourself becomes more soft. There's no friction anymore. Everything just locks together. Everything matches. Your understanding of the world and the reality of the world, they match. It's not like, for example, one good example of micchaditi, wrong view. Like here in Brazil, probably, I don't know if we have that in Israel, but in Brazil, we have that a lot. People say, for example, somebody dies, somebody just died. And then they say, oh my God, but he was such a good person. Why did he have to die? He was such a good person. That's wrong view. Like, when did you heard that only bad people die? Like, that agreement that's never existed before. Nobody has established that agreement. Only bad people die. This doesn't exist. Like, we create those wrong views in our mind, and then we suffer, of course. If the person is very young and he died, you say, oh, he has a lot of aversion in your mind. No, I can't accept that. He was so young. He was such a good person. He was so young. He's not acceptable. He can't die. No. And then people suffer. But actually, in reality, there was never such agreement. People die all the time. Good people, bad people, young people, old people, everybody dies. That's normal. If you understand that, there's no friction so much. There's not so much friction. And then when there is no much friction, there is no fear in your mind. There's no fear about the future. There is no worry about what happened or what will happen or what is happening. Everything is in its right place. Things are in its right place. Everything seems to be in its appropriate place. Everything is just normal. There's nothing too bad or too good happening. Everything is just fine. Everything is just the way it is. And then the mind cools down. It helps the mind to pacify. It helps the mind to become more relaxed and feel more secure and feel more at ease. But that itself is not samadhi yet. What we call samadhi is something that the mind really concentrates. The experience of the mind changes. Samadhi, you're still interacting with the world around you. It's like your mind is peaceful, but it's peaceful here in this level of experience. When we call samadhi, we call the mind just falls back into itself. It stops experiencing the world around you and start to experience itself. So it's a different type of experience. It's a very concentrated mind. The mind is called ekagata. There's one focus, one pointed mind. So it's a very particular experience. But they bleed into each other. Like samadhi, if you keep developing samadhi, will keep developing, the mind will become more and more peaceful. Eventually, it will converge into samadhi. So they are different things, but they are very much connected to one another. You need one to have the other. You cannot have one without the other. They both work together. And then samadhi will give you access to the level of knowledge, the level of wisdom, which will take samadhi to its next level, which is the actual view of suffering, the cause of suffering, the cessation of suffering. That is the Arya level of samadhi. That level of samadhi, you only going to get access to that if you develop samadhi. Now, samadhi will give you access to take samadhi to a deeper level. That is called the Aryan level. They're already going to the level of the enlightened beings. So they connect. They're not exactly the same thing, but they all connect. Everything's connected. There's nothing in the Dhamma, they all talk about the Buddha, that is isolated from one another. Everything connects. Everything is connected. That's why there's so many different ways you can practice Dhamma. That you don't need to follow the exact example of Luang Por Chah, or the exact example of Luang Por Piak, or the exact example of this or that monk. There are many ways, there are many different ways of practicing Dhamma. There are many different options you have. There are many different tools that you have to work with. So you can work your practice in many different configurations, and they can, if you are skilled, if you have enough knowledge, enough wisdom, you can make your practice be successful in many different styles. It's very, very rich thing to if you can speak Thai, you can learn Thai, read Thai, you can read the stories of many different Ajahns, and they all have completely different personalities, very, very different characters, very, very different styles of practice, but they all attain enlightenment. For me, this was one of the most enriching experience I had now in Thailand. I've been having contact with many Kruba Ajahns and having read about their lives and so on. It's very, very, very refreshing. It makes you very confident that I can do this right here. The bhavan is right here. I don't have to, because you read about Luang Por Piak. You read about Luang Por Piak, like he has this and that characteristic, and you say, well, I'm not like that. How can I ever practice? I'm not like that. But you don't have to be like that. You can just be yourself. You can search inside of yourself. What are your qualities? Develop that first. You don't have to imitate someone else. You can just look at yourself and do your own practice. So yeah, that's what it is. All right, friends. Is that enough for today now?
Thank you so much, Ajahn. It was really a privilege, and we feel very fortunate.
Okay. Good luck to you all. I hope you all develop in your practice. And anytime you need me again, just give me a call. Right?
Thank you very much, Ajahn.
Okay. Bye-bye.